Israeli attacks intensify on Gaza City, dozens killed in 24 hours. 1. Escalation of attacks. According to international news agencies, Israeli forces have significantly intensified their air and ground assaults on the suburbs of Gaza City. Heavy bombings continue in areas like Zaytown, Shahaya, Sabra, and Jabalia. These attacks are aimed at destroying Hamas's underground tunnel network and military positions, as reported by Israeli officials. Source: Reuters. 2. Fresh death toll in 24 hours. According to the Gaza Health Ministry, at least 4 people, including a child, were shot dead while seeking aid near Gaza City after Israeli forces opened fire near a food distribution site. Source: AP News. In addition, 8 more individuals, including a child, reportedly died from starvation in the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of famine-related deaths to 289. Since the beginning of the conflict in October 2023, over 62,000 Palestinians have lost their lives. Sources: Reuters, AP News. 3. Warnings from the UN and NGOs. The United Nations Integrated Food Security Phase Classification (IPC) has officially declared famine in Gaza City and northern areas. This marks the situation as a full-scale humanitarian catastrophe. Source: The Guardian. Organizations including WHO, UNRWA, and Médecins Sans Frontières (MSF) have raised serious concerns over the increasing humanitarian disaster, citing lack of medical supplies, limited access to food, and widespread disease. Worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Widespread destruction and displacement. Gaza City is now the focal point of Israel's possible final ground offensive, believed to be the last major Hamas stronghold. This escalation has forced hundreds of thousands to flee, often under fire. Residents in northern neighborhoods are being pushed southwards as bombardment destroys entire blocks and roads, making escape routes dangerous or inaccessible. Starvation is a symbol of crisis. The famine declared by the IPC reveals the depth of the crisis. Over 500,000 people are now in catastrophic food insecurity, with children and the elderly particularly affected. The UN Secretary-General called it a man-made disaster, citing Israeli restrictions, destroyed infrastructure, and blocked humanitarian aid as key causes. He emphasized the urgent need for a ceasefire and unrestricted humanitarian access. Failure of humanitarian relief. Reports from several aid groups accuse Israel of weaponizing humanitarian aid, deliberately blocking or limiting supplies for political pressure. Israel, on the other hand, claims it is providing enough food and blames the crisis on Hamas and the inefficiency of international aid agencies. This blame game has stalled coordination efforts and worsened civilian suffering. Death toll rising among children. The Gaza Health Ministry confirmed that at least 114 children have now died from starvation-related causes, an alarming sign of the scale of the disaster. Most of these deaths are occurring in displacement camps, aid lines, and makeshift shelters, where hygiene is poor, and access to basic necessities is minimal. Conclusion: a massive humanitarian tragedy. The overall situation in Gaza is quickly deteriorating into what the UN and multiple humanitarian agencies are calling a historic catastrophe. Dozens killed within 24 hours, including those shot while seeking food and others dying from starvation. Official declaration of famine by international authorities, placing over 500,000 at extreme risk. Mass displacement and homelessness, with families left without food, shelter, or security. Obstruction of neutral humanitarian assistance, amounting to a breach of international law. Severe warnings from the UN, Red Cross, and NGOs, accusing Israel of violating international humanitarian obligations and raising questions of potential war crimes.